guys? Welcome to another episode of SLC Punkcast Live and Wired, where we promote and advertise shows that we have either been to or are going to attend, or maybe not, just any shows that are coming up that you might like to attend. And we will be getting to that in a short time here because one of us has got to hit a show about now. So let's just jump right into it. I do have some tales from the pit. So, Tales from the Pit, I forgot to announce this last week because I did not have this in my notes, and I always note all the shows that are happening so that I can do this. And I didn't have this one in my calendar, but I did buy tickets to it. It wasn't until the day after, or, oh God, not the day after, the day before. The day before, so on Friday, last Friday, I got the reminder saying, hey, don't forget, your show is coming up. Oh, fuck, I forgot. And I did manage to get to the show, had a ticket, and it was a sold-out show. And what show was that? That was Carcass, Cannibal Corpse, and Meshuggah. Oh my God, Meshuggah. Crazy. That's Yiddish for crazy. I have never seen Meshuggah. I've seen Cannibal Corpse a bunch of times. I've seen Carcass now 3 times, and I love them. I love them to fucking death. I love seeing those guys live, especially Cannibal. They always put on a great live show, but I've never seen Meshuggah, and I just had to see them at least once, because who the fuck knows when they're gonna come back to the States, really, being all the way up there in Scandinavia. Yeah, lucky bastards, I guess. Anyway, Meshuggah. Yeah, it was about everything that I expected, but really quick, let's talk about Carcass. I got there, they were like in the, I guess sort of a third of the way through their set, so I still saw a good chunk of their performance, and it was good. It was good, just about as good as the last times that I have seen them. Nothing absolutely stupendous, but nothing horrible. It was like, yeah, this is a good opener. Now, Cannibal Corpse, oh buddy, Cannibal Corpse, I've seen them opening up for bands, so they play a relatively shorter set, but yeah, it's all bangers. They fucking walk out onto the stage, and then Paul does a little 1, 2, 3, 4 count, and then boom, right into Scourge of Iron. It is a brutal masterpiece. Masters of brutality. Yeah, that was a good time. And of course, they played rippers like Deathwalking Terror and I Come Blood. They always play I Come Blood. And they also did a new song. They did Violence Unimagined. Well, it's like, new song is, no. From Violence Unimagined, the album Violence Unimagined, they did Inhumane Harvest. That's what I found it again. I have my little notes here. Yeah. Oh, and they did Summon for Sacrifice, one of my favorite songs from their last album, Chaos Horrific. Oh, it was a great set. And of course, and I always call this one George Fisher, Corpse Grinder. He always says, we got one more song for you. And then they go on to play my favorite Cannibal Corpse song, Stripped, Raped, and Strangled. But we all know, no, that's not the ending song. That's not the last song. And he'll always do you want one more song? Yeah! I don't believe it. Do you want one more song? Yeah. Hammer, smash, face. Yeah, it always happens. Always happens. That's always been their show closer. Every time I've seen them, they always close it with Hammer, smash, face. It wouldn't be a Cannibal Corpse show without. The only places where they can't play it is in Germany. Because they still have those, because they still have their first 3 albums on the Black Book. Yeah, the first 3 albums in Germany. They can't play any of those songs off of those records. Because when they were first releasing them, worldwide off of Metal Blade Records, Germany put a ban on those 3 records because they were too obscene. But they lifted the ban from Cannibal Corpse, at least having their having their albums put on record store shelves in Germany. but they still didn't lift the ban on the first 3. But everything from the bleeding onward is okay to play in Germany. But they can't play anything, and even Pat O'Brien said this in their documentary, calling out the bullshit. It's like, okay, so you're saying that we can't play Hammer Smash Face, but we can still play Fucked with a Knife. This is fucking stupid. They should really lift the ban on that because it's fucking stupid. Anyway, let's continue on with the notes here. So let's get to the coup de grace. Fucking Meshuggah. Oh man, the stage goes dark, the house lights go out, and then what should be playing on the overhead speakers? But I'm never gonna dance again. Yeah, the George Michael song by Careless Whisper. That's the stage walking music for Meshuggah. Well, that's the music that's playing. Then it gets into those little rumbling overtones, and then all 5 members walk out on stage. I see their silhouetted figures. The stage just flooded with red, and then they go right into Broken Kong. I was like, yeah, here we go, man. And Meshuggah just carried on. They played some really good fucking hits. They did Rational Gaze. They did Combustion. They did Kaleidoscope. They did, what is it? Bored and Dissonance. That was a good one. They did Swarm, and then they closed out with Future Breed Machine. And then they got encored, and they come back with Bleed. Oh yeah, Bleed. That was a good one. And then they end it with Demiurge from not the last album, but the album that came out before that. And it was just awesome seeing these guys just in their moment, just like owning the fucking stage. And also the lights. Oh my God, the lights were so crazy. All these laser beams just shooting across the crowd. Well, they weren't shooting in sequence. It was just like one continuous strand of multiple strands of these lasers. And, oh man, and the light show was just absolutely stupendous. What can I say? Meshuggah knows how to put on a good fucking show. It was everything that I expected. I didn't get in the pit during Meshuggah. I used up all my pit energy for Cannibal Corpse, and for good reason. And I was like way off to the side. I gradually moved myself in as the show went on, but I was more there just observing. I wanted to just watch Meshuggah, and goddamn, I was having a good time. It was a great time. Great times all around. And I dropped $170 on a piece of merch. Not from Meshuggah, but from Cannibal Corpse. It was a little figure. This little figure of the guy who's on the cover of the album Vile, where he's completely dismembered at the limbs, and the wounds are cauterized. The little stumps are cauterized and wrapped up in barbed wire. And he's got a nice little Y cut on his chest, so he's been disemboweled and just completely gutted. And he's got those little these things, those little mechanisms that they put on your eyes to keep them open. You know, kind of like what they do to this guy. You know, what they do to that guy's to that eye. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point was the sculpture, the guy who actually designs all the stage props for Cannibal Corpse's live show, actually made that little figure. And there was like 1 in 20 of them made. So yeah, I dropped $150 on there, $170 plus the tip. And that was the only piece of merch that I bought. I was like, I really like that hoodie. I really like that beer koozie. Should I get a Meshuggah shirt? I don't know if I'll wear it. Yeah, that's what I bought. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I fucking love it. Probably share a picture of it with you guys. So yeah, that was my tale from the pit. I will have plenty more next week. Trust me, I will. Oh boy, next week is gonna be pretty brutal. So let's get to next week. What shows are happening on the 11th? My boys in Skullfuck, Tingle, and I Wanted Death, who is playing their first ever show. We'll be playing up at Black Lung Society. That is $12 cash, $15 if you're paying through Venmo. Starts at 7 p.m. Also on the 11th, this is the show that I will be at. We'll be seeing Poison the Well playing their on tour as per their 25th anniversary of their first album, Opposite of December. And they will be playing with Better Lovers, Teenage Wrist, and my friends in Recidivist. One of Salt Lake's biggest death metal bands, opening up for one of the most innovative metalcore bands. Yeah, it fits. I don't care. That's going to be awesome. And that'll be at the Depot starting around 6 p.m. April 12th. Boy, April 12th. This is going to be a loaded one. There are 5 shows. 5 shows that I got to plug right here. And we will do so with Absolve doing their EP release show for The Only Constant. Even though that EP was technically already released on streaming platforms, but whatever, semantics, who gives a shit. They will be playing with Johnny Baseball, Forever War, and they'll have Echoes of Amara from Las Vegas and Godbone from Idaho Falls joining us. That'll be at the Fellowship Hall. It'll be $10 and starts at 8 p.m. Then we have The Hate and my friends in Frick and Shere Khan. That will be at the Beehive. That starts at 7 p.m. and it will be $15. Then, up north, Fight the Future will be playing with Fuck and Riggs the Lord at Kamikazes up in Ogden. That is going to be $5 and starts at 8 p.m. And then Folk Hogan, down back here in Salt Lake, will be having their album release show for their new album, A Full Moon to Guide You. Pretty fucking awesome. I think this is their 5th album that they've released. Either way, it's going to be a hell of a party. And that will be at the Metro Music Hall. That'll start at 8 p.m. and is $20 to get in. Now, finally, the show that I am for sure going to be at because it's happening at my venue and my friends are putting it on. It is Vinny's 21st birthday show. Skinny Vinny, they call him because he's a skinhead. And he's also pretty damn slender, but that's besides the fact. He's turning 21, so we're going to show him how the skinheads party legally. So who's on the bill? Hi-Fi Murder, Captain Daniels and the Sunnybrook Sailors, Suffocator, and Debasers. This is going to be a fucking rager, folks. It's going to be insane. Get to this one if you... if you don't want to go to any of the others, I guess. It's pretty crazy. It's going to be a pretty crazy night for the Valley. Pretty loaded. Anyway, this one's at Poser Palace. It's $10 to enter and starts at 7 p.m. And it's going to go through all through the night. Punks don't know when to stop partying. All right. Now let's move on. On the 13th, this is not a show, but a local art festival for Spooks Boutique's 13-year anniversary. That's going to be at the Spooks Boutique, which is on like 34-something south and State Street. And yeah, Spooks Boutique, if you've never been there, well, you're going to have to check it out. But there will also be some other local artists, and it will be starting at 11 a.m. and it'll be going until 6 p.m. And it's free as fuck. It's free to attend and gawk and enjoy, do some window shopping. But feel free to buy something if it suits your interests. Anyway, on the 14th, Night Wraith, Acid Hologram, and Debrider. Or I've heard it as Debreeder, but I just read it as it's spelled. So, Debrider, I guess, or Debrider. They'll be playing at Aces High. That's going to be $10 and starts at 8 p.m. Then on the 15th, it's also a pretty loaded day for shows. Ingrown from Idaho is coming back to Salt Lake. We'll be playing with Mask, Taste of Blood, and Knife Point. That's going to be at Kilby Court. It's going to be... after the fees are included, $29, so round it up to $30, bring $30, and it's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Then, Vomit Forth, Harvest of Ash, and Mauled will be playing at Church and State. That's going to be $15 if you pay in advance, 20 day of show, starting at 8 p.m. And Where I am planning to be is going to be at the Depot to see Kneecap and Soft Play. I haven't seen Soft Play since, well, before they changed their name. Since when I saw them play as Slaves in 2018 for the Crucial Fest. That was a hell of a time. God, I love that festival. That was a good day. That was a good year for it. Not financially, of course, but it was a good year for the sake of art. Anyway, that's going to be a staggering $72. I still got to check on that. Something about that just doesn't seem right. But it starts at 7 p.m. Yeah, $70 for two bands. That's just, I don't know. That seems off. Anyway, on the 16th, Kraftwerk will be coming to Salt Lake as per their multimedia tour, celebrating 15 years of Autobahn. That's going to be at the Union, and that is $70, and it starts at 8 p.m. And Kraftwerk is the only band on that bill, but, these guys are legends, and they never come back. They'll never come back. It'll be awesome. Then on the 17th, my friend, whose name I cannot remember right now, Chris, his name is Chris, from the band Box Elder, will be visiting us from Wyoming as per their tour going across, the Central Mountain West. They'll be playing with Shere Khan and Knuckles and Dryerbird at the Aces High Saloon. That is a $10 show starting at 7 p.m. We all know when it really starts, though. And on the 19th, this is a big one. This is the What We Do Is Stupid Punk Marathon. Now, look at all of these fucking bands. I'm just going to marathon this shit and tell you which bands are playing. That includes Ribbons, Griebler, All Systems Fail, Discoid A, The Idiots, Mung, Animated Violence, Total Vacation, The Losers, Alienator, Brain Squeezed, Reek Minds, Meat House, Shaved Ape, and Maimed for Life. Now, some of these bands I haven't seen them play in years. Discoid A, I don't know where the fuck they've been. That was one of the first local, I don't even want to say punk bands because they were noisy as fuck. One of those labels with the music notes, circle with a slash above it. Yeah, that was Discoid A, one of the first ones I've seen, and they were absolutely horrible. I love them. I hope they play Beans and Rice. This whole thing is gonna be at Oliver Rock. It's $30 for the whole day, starting at 2 p.m. What a fucking load. And finally, we're going to end it at 420, April 20th. Dysentery, Garg, Head Gore, Radio Cowboy, and Wound Culture will all be playing at this undisclosed location. So you got to ask a punk, folks. Ask a punk for where to find this. It's a free show. Free show. So you got nothing to lose. And it starts at 6 p.m. Well, that was a loaded fucking couple of days ahead of us. So, guys, there's a lot of shows to choose from. Hopefully you make it out to one of them. I'm going to hand it over to Dustin now so that he can talk about the shows that are happening nationally. Anyway, I hope you have a fucking safe week. I hope you attend to a great shows once again. I've been Eric from SLC Punkcast. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Live and Wired. Dustin, it's your turn.
Thank you, Eric. And now we go around the world as we do in no particular order. I'm going to start with the Authority Zero show, as I went to that last night. Eric was alluding to that. We recorded our parts at different times, and it was amazing. I did, because we were recording, I missed Sack and Pirates of the Promised Land. Both those bands performed, actually got there, funny enough, 5 minutes before Authority Zero went on. So I guess the timing was perfect in that sense, but I missed the other bands, and I hear Sack was good, and I've seen Pirates of the Promised Land, but I missed out on them last night. But the Urban Lounge venue was great. Lots of people there, a handful of first-timers, a lot of people that have been to a lot of their other shows. I think that was the fourth time for me seeing them. And I think that they are pretty outstanding. I've seen them in Vegas, and I've seen them at the Complex. I've seen them at Urban Lounge here in Salt Lake. Complex is also in Salt Lake. And then, I can't think of Cobra. No, can't be it. I don't know. There's some other spot that changed its name, and it's in Salt Lake. Anyway, seen them all those times. It's great. Today, the 11th, they're actually going to be in Denver at HQ. On the 12th, they'll be in Casper, Wyoming. at Oil City Beer, and on April 13th, Colorado Springs, Colorado at Black Sheep. So make sure you check them out. They're fantastic. Played a bunch of great stuff. A lot of cool merch. They have their new EP, which is on a 12-inch killer, and they've got the Tipping Point also available on vinyl. Tons of shirts and other great merch. Flag. I bought the flag. It's going to be hanging here in the studio. I just love that band. We played them on SLC Punkcast this past week. I did. Andiamo is a great album. I've played a handful of their albums, and just as a band, put on a wonderful show. So if you haven't seen them yet, you definitely want to. Next up, we've got the band Stay Out. They are doing their Tariff Tour on today, the 11th. They're in Richmond, California, and then Sacramento on the 12th. Then on the 19th, Solar Van in Berkeley on the 20th. And then they have a few, as you can see on this flyer. We'll mention those as it gets closer, but it'll be May, a couple May shows there. It looks like California still. Then our pals in Bones 8, ARFA, they are still doing some shows. They've got, as you can tell on this flyer, lots of shows. On the 12th, they'll be at Homegrown Fest. On the 17th, the BBC Introducing Live Lounge. On April 19th, they'll be in Hastings at Tough Love Record Store. On the 22nd, Southampton. It looks like they start about a 2-week and a half tour there. You can see it'll go through May 2nd, and then they'll have a couple other shows after that. But Hastings, Southampton, Bristol, Milton Keynes, Northampton, Manchester, Liverpool, Tunbridge Wells, London, St. Leonard's, and they'll be wrapping that first group, a week and a half or so in Brighton. So make sure you check out Bones 8 ARFA. Also, Alternate Action today. They will be playing with the Buzzers, who are doing their EP release show. It's officially out. Go over to Longshot Music. You can get that and a split that I'll be playing on Punkanoy Worldwide this weekend, but you have to tune in if you want to know what that is, or just go over to Longshot Music and you can order it yourself. But Alternate Action, the Buzzers, and Rumpel, they will all be playing, and this is in Vancouver. $20 at the door. It's 19 and older. Get there. It's opens at 8, and you'll want to see all of those bands. Then our pals in City Saints and our pals in Aggressive are playing together. This is in Arberg, and it's Musicburg in Arberg. It's April 12th. Doors are at 7:30, so go check them out. Both those bands are fantastic. I've seen Aggressive live, and they are outstanding, worth the see. And I love City Saints. Those guys are great, and I hope to get to see them someday soon. Then Conservative Military Image, as you can see on this flyer here, they've got shows. They've done a lot of those shows. They have a gap today on the 11th, but they got 2 left in Providence on April 12th, and then in New York at the Bowery on the 13th. Hopefully you had a chance to see him on one of those. And here is the flyer for the one on the 13th at Bowery. They'll also be playing with Incendiary Device, Murderer's Row, American Eagle, and Faded Line. Get there. It is awesome. Great lineups, and it's a free all-ages show. So go check it out. And it's also a matinee. Love the matinee. Support the matinees. Bring back the matinee. Next up, on April 18th, Wayward Brigade are playing with the Do-Wats, Heroes Unsung, and Addled Brains. Doors are 7. Music at 8. All ages. Love the all ages. Support the all ages. And it's only $10. This will be at the Fredericks Eagles Club in Frederick, Maryland. So go check out those bands. Then bounce back to the West Coast for the band Dwarves playing with Das Clown, The Plagues, and Mad Tab. This will be in Oceanside, California at Poorhouse. April 11th, that's today. Go check it out. It's 21 and older, so like I say, support the all ages when they are available. Next up, on the 12th, April 12th, our pals in the Crayons. They will be playing with Yesterghosts, Anxiety States. Doors are at 7, £8 in advance, but if you're going to wait until tomorrow, it is 10. Your pre-sale's right there at the PayPal address, so go check that out. The Harlequin in Sheffield is where you will see this show. Next up, our pals in Scunthorpe Yobs. They're doing a show. It's a week from tomorrow, Saturday the 19th, at Tower Bar in San Diego. They're going to be playing with Brazen Bull and Trax. All of those bands, all three of those bands are fantastic. And then Mad Menace and the Murder Dogs. Don't know them, but definitely looks like a band I should check out if they're playing with those fantastic bands. And if you can believe it, it is $5 at the door. So there's no excuse unless you have something that you just can't get to. But if you like going to live shows and you're anywhere near San Diego, worth the drive, killer bands. Next up, we've got a show in Lakewood, California. This show is going to be on April 25th. It's a 21 and older on Friday the 25th at Regal Inn in Lakewood. You can go see Get In Loser, Noise Agents, Car Pit, Lost Issue, Gully G's, I think, 390, some killer bands, Noise Agents and 390 definitely bands I am a supporter of, and it looks like I should be checking out these other ones. It's a show at 7 because you're going to get, 6 bands there, so make sure you get there early, and it's only $10. 6 bands, $10. You can't beat it. Love punk shows, man. Love the punk shows. It is just outstanding. And that is going to wrap up the list for this week. If you have any that you would like shared, I think somebody sent them to me, and I'm just now dawning on me about that, but I think it was a little bit further in advance. Anyway, have yourself a great week, great weekend. Get yourself to some shows. Tune in for the Tales from the Pit as well, and we will catch you on the next one.